Hey everybody, last talk. I'll try and keep it under 5 minutes. My name's Eamon Leonard. I'm with Scout. You guys may have some t-shirts from us. If you don't, come see me and my friends. Yeah, come on, thanks. Thanks so much for welcoming us into your community. We're kind of new to it, but we plan on sticking around. My contribution today is to help you with maybe an aspect of a conference that you may not do very often, but is kind of probably to me one of the best parts of a conference, networking. And by that, I don't mean this, and I don't mean this, and I don't mean this, and I definitely don't mean this. But I do think it's interesting that this guy started off with one cable and somehow we ended up with that. I don't know. I also don't mean this, because this is definitely, when I was a lowly freelance developer that thought of going to events and networking, I would be like, well, I don't know if I can shake hands with business people. You never know what you're going to catch, because they're crazy. So I'm not going to talk about that style of networking much. So here's what I think networking really is, certainly in a conference environment. It's the opportunity to learn something new, and you never really know where that could lead. It could probably lead to something great, and in my personal experience, some of the best things to happen in my personal life and professional life are as a direct result of talking to people at conferences. I also think it's something that we're supposed to be good at because we're social creatures, and arguably society probably wouldn't have been a thing without the ability to network. But not everyone is good at it. So here's why I think it's worth doing, and to be open for it. I like to think of it as a long-term investment. It's an investment in your career, it's an investment in your potential, and it's an investment in your personal growth, which is something that you may not spend too much time thinking about, especially when you're focused on code. But if you're willing to take time to come to a conference to professionally grow, there's also the opportunity to personally grow as well. And like anything, with practice it becomes easier over time. One of the best things about this is, and I really resisted the urge to put a picture of John Bon Jovi in here, but one of the best things about this is that you're halfway there because you're at a conference, right? You are surrounded by your peers, people you can relate to, people you have a lot in common with, people who you could have future potential with, and that's actually the hardest part. Knowing who to network with in the first place and is the hardest part. The rest kind of follows after that. So my opener, and my apologies if you've gotten this from me already, but I like to say, hey, what are you working on? Because people, especially developers, love talking about what they're working on. Right? Okay, we'll see. And so my approach is to listen, and it's easy to listen, right? You don't have to come up with crazy mad questions. You just, what are you working on, and sit back and listen, right? If you don't feel like putting in, if you maybe feel awkward, or you might have social anxiety and you don't want to do too much of the hard questions, it's very easy to get the person to continue talking. Oh, that's cool, tell me more. How did you get into that? What kind of challenges did you face, right? These are all questions as developers we know we can answer, especially if somebody asks us. And we're only too happy to answer. And you might think this is small talk, right? And that's kind of the point. I feel like this is like the standard input-output of like human relationships, right? If you think about it,
30 seconds. Sorry.
30 seconds. Okay, so some quick tips, right? Try to remember names and faces. Pattern match, right? So you might talk to somebody over here who should probably be talking to somebody that you met earlier on. And if you can pattern match against that, then you can concatenate, right? So join those people together, maybe chain a relationship, and you become a node in the network, right? And that's really where the value is. That's where the opportunity is, because if you're a network node, then opportunity just comes to you because you're the person, you're the connector. You can make things happen. It comes with some overhead, a bit CPU intensive, right? But emotionally and mentally, it's draining to talk to people. If you talk to a lot of people, it can be hard to remember who's who, especially names and faces, and it can lead to some significant downtime. it's also hard to scale, right? So, I mean, conferences like this are manageable, but like 10 times this, not so much. I'm nearly there, pitfalls. I'm the last talk of the day. And I'm also beer sponsor, so. So, also diversity sponsor as well.
Hey.
There we go. So think about your motivation. Why should you go up and talk to somebody that is a complete stranger, right? There are two types of networkers, and I guarantee you've met both of these people, right? One is transactional and one is transformational, right? Transactional people, here's what to look out for. They seem interested first, but really they're just trying to gauge who you are.
This is too much.
Trying to gauge who you are. They're looking over your shoulder. They're not engaging in a conversation, and they will always ask you for something unrealistic. Transformational is the complete opposite. Genuine questions. Listen to your responses. Leaves room for you. Willing to share. Too long. Didn't listen.
I did.
To recap: investment, easier to think. Be transformational. Wait. Share. Wait. There we go. Right there.
Yeah, that's the one.